Guys, Ben Travovic here from the Manly Seagulls.
Here's comes through Luai.
The SuperCoach Experience podcast is one of the best podcasts going around, boys.
They go to hole.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I just want to say, what a podcast. Go the Mighty Eagles.
Hey lads, Ewan Aiken here from the New Zealand Warriors. Hope you have a big year with the SuperCoach Experience podcast.
Got the ball to Sims. It's down to hole. To hole. It's gone in again. What a pass.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the SuperCoach Experience podcast. After a massive high-scoring round, I'm back after 1 week off in the reserves and hosting today. Sabs might make it on towards the end. As always, I'm joined by basically a full panel. Jake, the coach of... is it Ramie Noodles? Is it Ramie Noodles?
Kiss my behind. You did
I'm living in the past. I know. I'm just so used to that. Jake, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Unlike the rest of the team, I had a bit of a stinker last week, not having Joey Manu, and then going.
Like, did you not own him?
No, not at all, mate.
I thought you just didn't BC him or captain him. All right.
No.
Lucky Sabs isn't on because you'd be getting the do you own Joey Manu laugh.
The laugh thing, yeah.
And let's not keep him hanging. Another big rank, not a massive rise, but it's still a rise for Timmy. He's heading in the right direction, flying high, and the back-to-back dream is alive, in my opinion. How are you, Timmy? The coach of the Billy Army, repping the Billy Army jersey today.
Thank you very much, man. I apologise for chiming in before I've been introduced. My voice is just lurking in the background. Look, I must admit, at the moment, I'm drawing up a game plan. Not normally, I usually play eyes up SuperCoach, but right now I had my eyes down, so I didn't really see that I wasn't on screen. And in the process of that, so it's going to be a really interesting week ahead. There's a lot of big decisions to make, especially with Papi going down. What are we going to do about it? There's so many options. And then outside of just that decision, there's still a lot of other interesting final moves, that people are going to make. Do you want to make them now? Do you want to hold your trades? A lot to get through. So it's going to be a good party, I think.
Yeah, it's a good lot to cover. We're going to go over just the mainly team list changes that are going to affect SuperCoach, in our opinion. We'll also, as usual, tell you how we're going with Trey, what our trade thoughts are, what we're doing this week, and kind of more so we wanted to focus about planning for the run home, so how to navigate through the carnage. And I'm sure all three of us have a different plan and we're all in different boats. I know I'm very low on trades, so my approach might be different to others. So let's get stuck into it. And Tim just mentioned it before. Actually, before we talk about Pappenhausen, because that's going to be the key, mostly everyone's going to have to deal with the plan around that. But Jake, I know you briefly mentioned how you went last week, but let's dive into a bit more and what's your ranks at and how you place for the run home.
I scored 1240. I think it was 1245. Dropped 300 ranks. Still in the top 1,000. I thought I was going to plummet out of there, but I guess towards the pointy end, there's a bit more of a gap between everyone. I know at the top, like Timmy banged out a massive score and only jumped up, a couple of spots. So as you go further up the ladder, it's more and more pointy. But trades this week, I've lost 2 players. Sonny Katoa's gone for the season, and Ryan Pappenhausen's gone for the season. Doesn't affect who I guess I was trading in. Or it kind of does because I wasn't going to get rid of Pappenhausen anyway. But Teddy comes in, so Savs can save his laugh react thing throughout the season. I won't be using it on me. Teddy won't be. And centre wing, I'm going Val. I was always going to bring in Val Holmes this week. Those are my trades. I've got making those 2 gives me 5 left.
And what did you say you're ranked at?
850, I think, around that.
Yeah.
850.
No, yeah, that's good. Before we get to Timmy, I'll quickly insert mine. We'll save the highest rank and the best to last. Going on that. I like those trade ideas. I also wanted Holmes for the run home, but I'm down to minimal trades. This Pappenhausen injury forces a trade that I didn't want to make, meaning that I can't get someone like Holmes now. I've got
Holmes for the
5
run
good-
home.
Yeah, I like
Sit
it.
on
I
that.
like it.
Sit on that.
I
Is it a
think
message?
I think it is. I really want him, but I can't have them all. I've got hardly any trades left, and I also have 5 good center wings in my team. So I'm just going to have to lock and load with them and trust in those guys. So, yeah, a good week for me, 14-41 with a VC on Manu. The funny thing is, I actually didn't talk to any of the boys before last round, so I had no idea
Shame.
Savs was
Yeah.
captaining Manu.
I didn't
didn't talk
even
to
watch
you.
the last podcast.
Yeah,
Even that Savs
I
was
didn't get to
talking
watch
up.
it either.
I
Yeah.
was busy. I was doing another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been flat chat with work, and I didn't see it either. And the fact all 3 of us were on the same mind, it just shows sometimes like we do have a lot of similarities with our
Just
thought
so you
process.
know, everyone
Yes,
on
go
the
for it.
Champs podcast did it too, without speaking
Okay,
to each
well.
other. Joe and Wilf. So that's weird, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just like,
that's just NRL fans reading what they think's going to happen, and I didn't think it was that to a certain degree, but I was very confident on not having it on Hines and doing a pod move. 4% VC, 4% C, and look, 14-41. I had a lot of low lights in that. It could have been way higher. Alex Johnston saved my week and really bumped it up a bit more, but I had to deal with like Barnett getting 38 in 60 minutes, and yeah, a few other troubles. But yeah, I grabbed David Fafita and Harry Grant last week. I was forced into the hooker trade. I didn't have a hooker, so I had to sell Cotter. And yeah, Garner, I thought it was time to upgrade to another premium second row. So I'm down to 4 trades, boys. I'm making one. I'm in a bit of red alarm alert, but I've got myself up to 1,573 in rankings, which is huge. I jumped 500. I'm 130 points away from Jake, so I'm
Trying to get
catching
us all
you.
in the top
Huge.
1K.
Yeah, that would be huge. I think, even if Maxi could as well, but I think for us 4, that'd be massive. So, yeah, that's obviously my goal, but I'm kind of just trying to make sure I get all these key blokes in, even with my minimal trades. And if I get undone at the end of the season, then that's my fault for not managing my trades better. Because I said last year
well, I
I'd be better
guess
with
that's
trade
part
management.
of the strategy
I
chat
hadn't
we'll
been.
discuss later, huh? Like, we can sort of
Yeah.
address that sort of concept.
Yeah.
So I guess that's sort of, I've got, you said we might have 3 different plans. I've got 2 plans, and the Devil's on one shoulder and the Angels on the other. So I've got 2 different voices just going really hard at each other at the moment. So yeah, one of them's on that ilk of just going mental. So yeah, we'll have a chat about that.
100%. So yeah, trades, Pappenhausen. I already own Tedesco. I'm not interested in Latrell. I know that's huge, but it's not that the run scares me. I'm just way more interested in DCE. So I'm low on trades, so I'm going to take the route that the majority won't take. Even if everyone was bringing in him this week, then I would do the same. But it just looks like everyone's trying to get your Latrell and Tedesco's if you don't have him. DCE is at like 4% ownership, and I think even after this week he'll stay around 10. I've finished with DCE in my side 3 to 4 years out of the past 5, and he's never let me down. Manly are looking the best they've ever looked without Tom, and I just think, I don't have Garrick. And I think having DCE could make up for the pain of not having Garrick. So I'm very happy with him. He's a good VC C pod options. I'll be chucking the VC straight on him this week. He's playing great footy. And then my other trade, I really wanted to do. So that gives me 470k, 480k, 3 trades remaining. I could do Mam to Munster, and I could also do Niokora or Max King to Tarpanay. Niokora to Tarpanay would be a good move, but I've noticed, which we're going to talk about, there's 3 forwards named on the Canberra's bench for the first time in a month, as well as the hooker. With all these centre wing injuries, they're not holding a centre wing on the bench. So I'm a little bit worried about the minutes, mainly because I don't want to spend 680k for Tarpanay. And I think, what if one of those guys go down? I don't have the trades to trade him out. So I think I'm just going to hold it this week and play Max King. And same thing, Mam to Munster. Storm are looking a bit flat. Maybe Munster bounces back, but I think it'd be smart just to hold the trades, reassess next week. I've got 480k. I can do whatever I want next week with that. It also gives me the option to have another look at Dewey, see if I want to do something different. So at this stage, I want to hold the trade. Because I was going to rush out Max King, but Luke Thompson hasn't been named again, so I'm hoping that 50 points you can deal with that for now. I don't think that's red alarm alert, waste of trade. So I'm just going to sit back, relax, make the force trade with Pappenhausen, and move on. Timmy, how'd you go, mate? And what's your trade kind of thoughts? I know you probably don't have them yet because you have your Mondays off, but
So last
where's
week,
your head at right now?
I'm really sort of frustrated with myself as much as Fafita scored well. I didn't really plan to bring him in. I was sort of talking to you guys pre-pressing record. Yeah, I just it wasn't in my plans to do it yet. I hadn't factored it in. My trade numbers, I didn't think it was, the right move for me yet. But because so many people that were doing it, I thought if I don't do it and he goes off, which he can, then I'll be really disappointed in myself. So 75 is a score you'll take, but it's kind of, I guess it's taken a few aces out of my deck, I guess you could say. So a little nervous about that. I scored well. I had the VC on Manu as we discussed. I think I just got lucky with the SuperCoach gods pulling my hands away from the VC on Moses, because I was doing Moses all week, and then I just sort of felt warming up and I was just a bit not feeling it or something. And so I just let it go. And then it was good for it. It wasn't because I wanted to do mine. It was like, I'll reassess and do something else. And then it would just work that out later. So that was weird how it turned out.
Good move.
But as for this week, man, like I'm impressed how you guys can just be like, okay, so getting rid of Pappenhausen, moving in Teddy, bringing in this guy. It's crazy how you guys are so decisive. Like it must be pretty relaxing at the Triple Jacker Mafia and also the Raymond, the
Kiss Me Behind
club culture. Yeah, like the players must be chilled. You guys must run a pretty loose ship. Just let the boys do what they want. I'm stressing out all the time. The players are, treading on eggshells around me. I'm like Bellamy throughout the week, just pacing around, just sweating with stress. But I've got no idea. What I do know is that I definitely need to get rid of Pappenhausen. And the first guy that's come to my mind for that replacement is Teddy. I've traded Teddy out, not because I wanted to, but because I wanted to sort of make a bit of a smashing move in that buy round. And I just had to sort of trade a gun for a gun to do that. So I think he'll have to come back. Other than that, I am thinking about, as I said, there's a devil on my shoulder. Let's go and just go hard. Because like I'm in a different position now than what I was last year. Last year, I had way more trades than I do now, and people can look up my trades now. So it's a thing that you can look up on this app. It's a new app. Find out about it. It's SuperCoach Pro, NRL SuperCoach Pro or something, I believe it is. Not great at quoting things perfectly, but something like that. And you can look up everything about who each team is captained. The guy in first, you can go look and see who's captained every round, how many trades he's got left, how much bank he's pretty much got, anything you want to know. It's very transparent. Last year was a little bit more secretive, so no more secrets. So I guess that's a bit of a different thing to SuperCoach all of a sudden. I don't know how I feel about it. It's weird. I kind of liked a little bit of privacy.
That helped you last year for sure, man. So it definitely changes. You have to change your plan for this year because.
So that's my point.
You're going to have people looking at you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saving trades, being heaps cautious and just like, I've got a bit of a gap. I just got to do this and block that and make sure I've got trades if things go chaotic towards the end and I can allow for it. I don't want anything to go, to shite. So, but this year I'm chasing. I'm 520 something points behind. So the devil on my shoulder's going, go hard. You've got a boost left. Let's bring in 3 this week. Let's bring in 3 guns. It looks like it could be maybe the round to do it. Well, it's not really so much that's the round to do it. It doesn't look like there's that amazing amount of matchups. It's more the next week, I think. But the devil on my shoulder is saying, trade now, because if you don't trade now and you're saving towards the end and then you've got these trades towards the last round and you've got maybe 3 trades left in the last round and I'm still 500 points behind or 300 points behind, what am I doing? What am I going to do with them? You know what I mean? So a part of me thinking, if I can see someone who's got the right run and the right draw, and it seems like they're about to peak, and you can get that feeling for them. Maybe I just get on them now and use the trades. But the angel on my other shoulder's gone, man, COVID's going to hit for sure. COVID's going to hit for sure. I've been noticing the amount of masks that people are wearing in the community has increased dramatically. People are worried, and it's for a reason. They're saying there's a new variant. And of course there is. Of course there's a new variant. It always some sort of shenanigans at the back end of the season, whether it's mass injuries, whether it's some sort of COVID troubles, whether could the game just stop. I remember last year when I was in front and I was worried that the game might have just stopped for a bit, and I thought, I think it's just going to cancel and they just don't pay out anyone because it doesn't go to the end. But yeah, so I'm stressed out, man. I'm letting the devil and the angel do their little battle throughout the week, and I'm trying to draw up a game plan. That game plan basically is not a plan. It's basically just trying to manually write out different teams' draws. I don't like looking at it on computers. It makes more sense to when I've written it with my own hand and the aesthetics. So that's my plan. Probably Teddy, and I might use 3 trades, or I might just use that one.
Yeah, I like the thought process, and it's a bit of the behind-the-scenes action here on the SuperCoach experience of how Timmy's brain works. At the same time, going back to, it's not the fact I'm more calm and collective. I overthink this game too much. So after Sunday, I'll go home into bed and I'll have 8 plans in my head. So I'll do all this craziness in my head. And then I'll do this. If this doesn't happen, I'll do this. And if this gets named, so I've already got the plan drawn out in front of me. But I think your stress and your worry sometimes helps you make the right move. Where for me, I'm sometimes too short to set on something that I don't get to sit back.
Ideas sitting there that I don't allow myself to completely connect to because I'll stress on them. And I was like subconsciously
I stress and connect
the week. And then right towards about I don't know, usually about the last couple of hours before game time, I'm like, all right, you need to draw the dots now. You know what I mean? So that's how it sort of works for me.
Well, so Pappenhausen, it's a big one. He's got to go. He's confirmed out for the season. As Jake mentioned too, Sione Katoa is also out for the season. We are going through mass injuries, and I definitely think the last round we've always got to assume with some of these teams pushing ahead, example, the Panthers, if you're holding a lot of Panthers like I am, that last game I could be screwed with 3 or 4 restings. I'll probably play that New South Wales Cup side they've been playing over there, but I think they'll give guys like kick our rest and all that kind of stuff. If they're right now, they're 9 wins away from 9th place, and they're 8 points away from 2nd. So they're starting to chug a pretty big lead. If they've got it wrapped up, they're not going to risk bodies.
Last year, Ivan wanted to play the boys into form into the finals. You know what I mean? And he will probably keep that again because it worked for him, right? They won the grand final doing that. But last year, when he played his players and backed them up after Origin and all that, it didn't really work out for him. You know what I mean?
Hurt.
So so he's just gone, I'll adapt. I've changed to that. So he's adapting to things that don't work. I think you keep what works and you learn from your mistakes and make adjustments. So
I just think be prepared. Yeah. I just say be prepared. I think you need a plan for that. That's why I really want to save just my only trade, one trade left for that round later. I just think be prepared because if Ivan doesn't do it, some other teams might. So, then it's going to be a tight race to the finish. So Pappenhausen, Jake, what do you feel? If you don't have Tedesco, do you think that you don't even need to think about that? You go perhaps to Tedesco and you just sit on it and be happy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, for sure. I think, perhaps Tedesco makes sense. The one if I didn't have Latrell, I don't know if I would do Pappenhausen to Latrell. I think I would maybe do a move like you, Mikey, like a DCE, another halfback, or even sort of have like a Val, a Garrick, even maybe a Meany's a bit of a pod in your fullback and then rotate with your centre wing. So you kind of can always bench, say, a centre wing in the fullback position and run, say, a different
that's a good idea.
A different reserve in another position. So I guess that's a different idea that no one's really, I guess. I
like all of what you've said except for the Meany thing. I wouldn't do the Meany
thing. I know. I
was
just throwing in some jewels in there, but
it's worth considering as what he's done at fullback, but I think that is very key. Normally when you have your 2 fullbacks, you can't move them. So if you come down to me and you have no trades, you having like a Manu in your fullback and Garrick and switching all of them, that could really come in handy if Manu misses like a game this week or all that kind of stuff. So I think that's a good tactic. Timmy, you own Latrell Mitchell. You're
Yes.
bringing in Tedesco. Would you bring Latrell in? Would he be a next best option over Teddy? Or would you be
I'd
looking at
actually
halfbacks?
planned to trade Latrell back out. That was part of my trade him in for these two, like for the buy round, because it's, I thought it'd be pretty rare. Not many people would do it, especially because I had a rough draw, but I thought if I could trade him back out. But like, I don't think he's a buy. He could be a buy. I think when there's Teddy there, you don't have Teddy. But for me, I'll tell you why I'm torn on these ones. This is where I stand with it. Latrell, for the yes factor, gone overseas, got his body right. There's a documentary about him. He's said no to Origin. Said I'm going to do this for the Bunnies. He's looked great the last couple of games. There's a real wow factor about him. I'm getting a Tommy Turbo vibe from last year, sort of factor of him just coming back and just ripping it up. But the draw is really tough. And, he does touch the ball generally a lot less than like someone like a Tedesco. Tedesco will touch the ball usually twice as much. And with that, Teddy will do those fend, palm offs, tackle bust. And Teddy's playing like lower quality sides where he's probably going to have the opportunity to, really get that ceiling going. Whereas Latrell's probably still going to have those big moments, but I can't see him racking up massive ones, like 3 or 4 of them game after game against really tougher opponents. And there's a lot of tough opponents. So have a look at that Bunnies draw if you're a little unsure about it, but it's pretty much every top 4 side and then the Warriors at one point.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said there. I think you really narrow it down to 3. Tedesco, Latrell, and DCE. They're the 3 I would be looking to replace.
I've got an opinion on
Assuming you
DCE.
already had Cleary, yeah. Assuming you already had Cleary, then they're really the only ifs or buts, or if you got Jules Munster. But yeah,
before we move to team list, quick opinion on DCE, because that's the other one that's sort of doing in the rotation, kind of like him. Everyone's talking about him. So I've heard a lot of people message me going, what do you think about DCE as a pod? And I'm like the thing, I call myself the lurker because I like to keep my ear to the ground and find out what, other people are doing without actually even asking them. Just sort of I lurk. I just creep in corners and sniff and put my ear to the wall and stuff like that. And use all my senses. But basically everyone's doing it. I think a lot of people are going to be doing DCE. But he was my guy last year. And I don't know whether that's a part of people, see, oh, yeah.
It's really a part of this jersey, mate.
Last year.
It's a part of this jersey.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. But then again, there's a balancing factor of last year. He came from an Origin side that was a losing side. He was copying a lot of criticism. Now he's Queensland's hero. Does he still keep playing awesome straight after Origin with a different sort of?
He's Manly's last hope. It's him and Garrick. Without him,
But the other thing is, I was watching highlights of. This is the last thing I'll say about. It's got nothing to do with him, but a little bit to do with him. Is Sean Johnson highlights came up and they showed Sean Johnson doing this, doing that, and I was like, oh, yeah, he couldn't do that now. And it was something to do with the age factor, and I just thought, oh, maybe you want the young guy, go the younger guy, whoever the younger guy is. So that's my thought. So there's a part of me not wanting the older body and wanting the young guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
the
preference.
Let's get a team list, huh? Before we
look, this is all part of it.
Room up and I go completely crazy.
But yeah, DCE, just quickly on that, right now, as it stands on Tuesday after team list, he's only been brought in by 1,600 compared to Latrell at 9,500. So, and he's only at 4%. So no matter how you look at it, I could put a bet saying that he will be under 15% after this round. No way he
Coming
gets
from a guy called Michael Webb, I think he can actually speak with a lot of credentials on Spider-Man. So
Tinder, Spider-Man, I see a catch of all those senses. Yeah, definitely. So just quickly on what we were talking about today, blokes, Teddy, Trell, or Val. We've kind of briefly mentioned him. I'm pretty sure all
Teddy,
3 of us would agree Teddy. Yeah.
But Val, you can stick into your CW center wing. I'm just going to start saying center wing because I can't do this. It'll be quicker.
You always say back the front.
Yeah, always do back front. Val, you can stick into your center wing.
And thanks, Ted. All of us have one of these. Thanks to Timmy for organising it. We'll keep answering a couple of questions. Paycheck. Hi, guys. Grant or Hines this week? It's an interesting one
plays
too.
Penrith.
Yeah, I'd at Penrith, might I add. Are you going to the game, Jake?
I don't know at this stage, Mikey. It's supposed to be a bit wet this weekend, so I might.
I'll be there.
I do not like Penrith supporters.
I'll be
They
there,
are a
mate.
panic to do with, Mikey.
It's annoying
Yeah, I
that
know.
there's going to be rain again, huh? We've had a couple of weeks without it, and I just saw it started to trickle a bit today. And I'm like, this is annoying. Have to look at the weather
So,
again.
yeah, exactly. You got that comes back into it. So, let's go over some other things for team lists. I'll briefly mention stuff that I remember. So, the Parramatta, Ryan Madison's back. That's good for guys that held on. The Manly game, I'm pretty sure there was a few. Jake Travojevic has got COVID. He's not really SuperCoach relevant anymore, but he's come out. And I'm hearing Andrew Davey also could have COVID. There was a bit of a scoop that I heard that hasn't been announced yet, but he's been sent for tests, and he potentially could have COVID, which would force maybe someone like Josh Schuster to come in to start.
Well, I guess the whole buddy, Mike. I just guess the
Yeah,
whole
bro.
thing. Although some of these players aren't Supercoach relevant, COVID's like Timmy said, COVID's back, and it could it was Hines, 2 weeks ago. It could be a new Supercoach player every single week. So I guess that's part of the strategy, like it was last year, holding trades and being having depth. So it's a lot.
And
it's
who
a lot to
knows that
think
it's
of
those
going
boys
ahead.
now. Like, what if, by the time we finish recording this podcast, which usually happens because we usually go first and there's all these changes since the end of the round, there could be bloody Jerry Evans that gets it as well and all these other stuff.
Yep.
But even another
Garrett
factor,
could be the whole Manly
it
side.
is like people who want to bring in Cherry Evans this week. Maybe it's not as good if Gerbo's not there, I should say, and Davey's not there, and they're forced to play more guys from the extended squad. Maybe they don't have as much go forward, and it doesn't allow DCE, doesn't allow Garrick to go off as much as well. So that's things you've got to consider.
Very, very good point. It is a big game for both of them. This is Manly versus Dragons. They're very similar. So this would be a big game for both, and they'll treat it as if it's a final. But back to what Jake said. I think that's very important. Especially, it makes getting duels even more that important, because if you're left to narrow trades and you don't have one backup in each position, especially a halfback, 5'8", fullback hooker, you'll be screwed with the COVID out if you've got an NPR there. So duels are more important than ever. That's what's making me want to spend all this money and trade near Corey instead of a Max King in that, because I want to have Max King in my second row, being able to switch him up if Papali'i or Tarpanay got COVID. So that's why I just want to wait another week, because Munster's break even's at 60. But enough about that. Roosters have some big changes which could affect him. Joe Manu is in doubt. He got named, but there are whispers that he didn't train yesterday. He could be a late scratching against the Knights. I think after last week's big score, he'll be heavily targeted in the VC and Cs, but he's back in centre. Kiri's back, Jared Warrior-Hargreaves is back, and Matt Lodge gets a start. So Roosters look like they're starting to find their feet and they're starting to chug their way home to get into the finals. They're currently in ninth. This will be a big game for them. Hence, even more, this is a great matchup for Teddy.
He's open to a conspiracy theory.
Oh,
Go on.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so Joey Manu, a lot of speculation about him faking an injury, people pulling up, him then continuing scoring a try, but then he's gone off afterwards. Maybe it's a double bluff that he's now sort of didn't train. Robbo said just take training off. That'll be enough validation to get people starting to question. Nice play, by the way, Manu. Keep playing eyes up footy. Double bluff. That's my conspiracy theory. He'll be right to go.
I mean, just on that, I don't think he was faking. He was definitely cramping up. But then a cramp, if you see something, your adrenaline kicks in, you're going to run.
The touch of the
and forget about your
SuperCoach
cramping.
gods cured him because we had the VC on him. Oh, sorry, Jake.
That's a footballer move right there, what he did. Yeah, exactly what Jake said.
But I didn't like the move, because if he was legitimately hurt and someone's absolutely whacked him, then the person who whacks him is in, he's enemy number one for the NRL, because they, held off all these blokes going down and he takes off. I thought
It was already
Yeah.
like bloody 50-0. Oh, 50-28, but still.
He would have only got
but
170
forget about
points.
the score,
It was-
just the
yeah.
gamesmanship in it.
Yeah, it's a fair point.
All right, off my
On-
conspiracy theories, what do we got for ins and outs? Tell us what we've got. for
So
teams,
yeah,
man.
the Raiders and Warriors. Raiders have had a few changes due to Rapana and a lot of their backs injured, suspensions, whatever it is. So they're a little light in the backline depth. The Raiders are playing Albert Hopewade on the wing, and for the first time in a long time, like I briefly mentioned before, Herrera Naira will come in on the bench. So they're going to have Starling, Sutton, Gullart, and Herrera Naira. So I'm interested to see how they're going to spread these minutes with Adam Elliott, who's been absolutely killing it. It would have been great if you jumped on him before the round 13 bye. I considered it. He's been outstanding. And then, Tarpanay, whose PPM's been great and its minutes have been good, but I just want to see before jumping on how this impacts his minutes. So I think potential buyer should have a look. He's at 30% ownership now. Not going to be able to make up a lot of ground. It's more so just a security move in my instance. The Warriors also have done a lot of switching around, one being Reece Walsh onto the interchange bench,
Weird
which
move.
as Savs posted, could be great for us for next year. But at the same time,
Do you think that's
I
on
don't-
performance, or do you think that's because he's going
fact
to a
he's
different
leaving,
club
yeah.
next year and they're
Bit of both.
now starting to?
Bit of both, and I don't like this Chanel Harris Tavita moving fullback. Like, just I don't like it. I
Well,
don't
he's
really,
leaving
yeah.
as well, isn't he? He's going. He doesn't know what he's doing next year.
He's
He's
only
just
a year
resigned
off,
from.
yeah.
Yeah. So for that,
So, yeah,
fact, why not keep the better guy on the field? It's weird. Maybe I don't know.
Penrith and Sharks. Penrith are back to basically full strength with Matty Eisenhuth getting the call up over young Spencer Linu with his terrific performance last week against his old club, and they're versing the Sharks. Always enjoy this battle. Looking forward to this one. Hasn't been a Penrith home game in a while, in like a month. So they'll be hungry for this one. This is a big game, really. If we can knock down some of the top guys, they can get even further ahead. Big news, Katoa out. Jake's making the trade this week. That is a bit of a blow, but in our instance, it means Connor Tracy can start for the rest of the year, who I think is a great footballer. So he comes in on the wing there. Talakai comes back after a week resting. And this will be an interesting one too. I own a lot of Shark Penrith players, and I had a look at Ronaldo's scores and how Penrith do at home, and I'll be sitting a lot of my Sharky. I'll be sitting out one of Talakai or Melotalo this week. It's a bit of a we're starting to get depth now. Yeah,
I was
just
pretty
think
close
this
to
could be
sitting
a
him
low
last
score.
week, and I'm annoyed I didn't. You know what I mean? I knew that those two games were tough, but it's annoying because surprisingly, the Sharks really did quite a job on the Cowboys on the scoreboard. So you would have thought there'd be a little bit of love for Militaro, but there's nothing.
Oh, it's Connor Tracy in the centres. Connor Tracy seems to kill him in the centres. With Talakai, he seems to score way better, which, if the Sharks turn up and win this game, then benching him is not the right idea. But I'm going in this with thinking Penrith can do a dirty job and they can keep a close or high lead. I think they could put 1 to 12 and 13 plus, and they can do whatever they want. So I'm going to have that confidence with them. Bunny's Melbourne. Grant Anderson owners, I don't think any of you is me. He's on the bench. He's number 14, so
Let's
he's going to
talk
be
about
a
this.
nightmare. Yeah, have a look at the team. Go to
I reckon this is smoke and mirrors from Bellamy. From
this
one
is
that
a
likes
typical
to do
Craig
a lot
Bellamy.
I'm a massive smoke and mirror guy myself. If anyone's paid attention to a lot of the stuff I do pre-round, I've always got Kickow as my captain leading into the pre-round and then change it up. But look, there's Wishart on the wing. Why are they doing that? I thought he's durable and he's just a footballer, Wishart, by all accounts. But I don't know. He kind of looked a little bit, for me, out of place. And that Anderson guy kind of seemed a bit more natural as a winger, whereas that Wishart looked like he'd be more handy as a hooker or halfback, even plug him at fullback. Not so much the wing. He kind of looked, he didn't have enough to play on the, I don't know. But I reckon they're going to mix that up, man. I reckon that maybe do you reckon they could move Munster fullback, Meany to 5'8"?
That'd be juicy, but no.
Wishart. Here's my prediction. Meany. So Munster fullback, Meany to 5'8", and then Anderson to the wing, and Wishart will come back to spell Grant in
Grant.
absence of Smith.
See, I'm thinking what they'll do is young Tonomopea could come in if they want to keep Anderson. I think they'll build his fitness back. He'll stay on the bench. I think that Sulaviv Falago, I don't know, I'm probably saying that wrong, but
No, you
he's
got
a
that
winger.
perfectly right.
He's number 22. He's a winger. Maybe they debut him because, why not? They haven't lost, first time they've lost 3 games in a row in 7 years. And honestly, they're coming to Bunnies home. Bunnies could beat him again. So Cody Walker was one that I really would have wanted to rest for this game. Now, because I'm not going man to Munster, I won't. And just the thing that scares me of Cody Walker, if you boys haven't looked into it, because I have, I'm going to hold him. I'm not selling him, but his last few scores against the Storm are horrible. 17 and 16. Not very good. They were both his games, one game this year and one game last year. He's starting to hit a bit of straps, and this Storm team is very understrength. So that is also and they're not at Melbourne.
So what you're telling me I should play Wishart over Cody Walker this week?
No.
No.
But hey, if that's what your Shine's telling you to do, mate, you do it. But yeah, let's get back onto the team list train. So yeah, Storm, I agree with Timmy. Smokes and mirrors, I think, for some of it. And then this Rabbitohs team, their backline shifted a bit. They've got Jed Cartwright. If you picked him up as enough, he's coming to centre. Not bad. They played really good last. Like Bulldogs played good too, but yeah, the Bunnies seem like you can never count them out, and I think they will make a real big stride for the top 8 come the end of the year. So, other than that, Cam Murray's back from that knock, and their team looks pretty much settled. Other than that. Any other big changes? Titans, Bulldogs, Tigers, Cowboys.
Cook as well is back from his week at the Gold Coast, so he's back.
Yep, there we go. And yeah, the other 4 games that I said, Max King, Luke Thompson's not anywhere in this team, I'm pretty sure, meaning that was TPJ there last week?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that looks like the same bench as last week. So that's good news for Max King.
TPJ started last week, I think. Yeah,
he started. It wasn't looking good. It was looking like King was only going to get 34, and yet again found a way to get that PPM up, and he was at about a 50. So, yeah, the rest of everything looks about right. This is also a very delicious game for David Fafita. So, then again, I just don't see Titans winning a game for a while. So, we'll see how we go. They're the team list. Let's dive into Jake, Tim. We'll talk about kind of the trading pass. So, or Timmy, what do you think is a way we can use to get ahead? So you're a bit behind. I know we're all kind of in the same boat. We all want to try and make a jump. What do you reckon the best way to go about it is?
Yeah, I guess we've all got probably different goals. You might be sitting around, 8,000th, and you want to get into the top 5,000, or maybe a bit more ambitious, you want to get in the top 1,000, which is probably, I reckon it's definitely a reality. Like that far out, if you're still sitting even 10,000, you can make the top 1,000. There'd be enough room to do that. Or maybe you're a bit closer. You want to, make the top 100, the top 1,000. Maybe you're in the overhaul run. I think it depends how close you are. Like if you're right in the top 10, I'd be probably being a little bit more conservative rather than trying to win the battle right now. I'd be sort of just hoping that the guys ahead of me sort of start to stumble, because I think the trades are pretty thin for a lot of the guys up top. I know that most of them don't have a great deal. I think one of them had like a decent amount, like 12 pre-trades last week or something like that. But the rest of them were pretty light. So if you're in the top 10, I'd be sort of taking it easy and just sort of playing the guys you've got and then allowing for injury. Because you don't want to be sort of having a few guys go down in the back end of the season and be trying to hold whatever you've done for the whole year with 14 players. It just won't work. But if you want to make moves, I'd probably say you've got to do it in the key positions. But because the key positions, there's not much potting going on. I feel like 20% of the people will be on this guy, 30% will be on this guy, and the rest will be on that guy, which will probably be like Teddy, Latrell, and then whoever the other guy is. So maybe you do sniff around the center wing position a bit more, like do you take a Val Holmes over or if you can only have one, maybe if one's going to be more common than the other and stuff like that. So they're the different little ways. If I wouldn't be going too crazy pottish, like, oh, let's get Edric Lee in because he scored 5 tries a couple of rounds ago. I'd be sort of looking if I'm going one way or the other, which one's maybe a bit more pottish. But then again, for me, I try to just get the best team that I can get. And trust that if I can get the captain right more often than I get it wrong, and also get my bench all right more often than I get it wrong, I hope that other people above me maybe fail on the captains a couple more times than I would, or maybe get a few stinky bench guys and miss out on a few guys that scored 120 they missed out on their bench when you see people posting that up. So, yeah, I kind of like to just get the best squad I can get, but there's a few different ways you can go about it. I wouldn't go too outlandish.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you there. Like, we all think it slightly differently, but yeah, the captaincy options are always important. I guess here in a thing, I like to VC a bit of a pod. I'm also looking at, I do need to bring back in Munster, but I'm thinking, okay, I don't think I can make too much moves. I might just go, hey, fuck it. Look, I'm obviously in a different spot to you, but me being, out of the top 1,000, I might go, let's do something different. I don't need Munster. I can save 100K. I could go Niokore to Tapane, and then my brain thinks you can then afford Adam Dewey and happily have him there. And then if I've got another trade left, if I'm doing good with injuries, I could then bring in Munster later and move Dewey to centre wing. So just things like that. Like, the Tigers suck. Dewey scored 87 on the weekend, and after what he achieved last year, he's just on my radar because I think a lot of people are too scared to go him. So I kind of think of those moves. But at the same time,
he's not on my radar, but I'm aware he's on a few others. I can hear him sniffing about. A few people asking questions about him here and there.
Keep him there, because if Tigers somehow score points
last year, he could still do it again. The only thing is he's coming back he seemed a bit fresher when we got him last year. He's sort of just 1-2 games back, but
he's kicking goals again. He's starting to look a bit better. It's just he's lost 180K.
Individually, at least he loves it.
Yeah. Exactly. He's like a Jack White and kind of carries that team on his back when he needs to. So, but yeah, other than that, look for holes. Take pods. And as Timmy said, I think it's not just about going for the 2% owned guy. This week, 9,000 people going for Latrell. As it stands, 1,500 for DCE. So I will always choose that path in this kind of situation because, why not? I've got nothing else to lose.
But if your mind's telling you that Latrell's going to score you 30 more points around,
then you go.
Yeah. Don't just be like, I'm just going to roll the dice. Take the most points that you think that logically you'll trust your gut. Yeah.
Yeah, and that it also comes team dependent. But yeah, go Jake.
Yeah, and I was kind of going to mention that with Timmy. We're at the time where trades are getting thin. Don't be, I guess, blowing a trade just for the sake of it on someone that might get 10, 15 more points than what you currently got. That
did that last week.
Yeah, like what Timmy's a bit gutted about now. Those trades could be very crucial come round 23, 24, 25 when, a gun player's been injured and, instead of getting 0 points, we can get another gun that gets the same amount of points. So that trade's going to be more valuable at the end, where a lot of people probably have blown all their trades. So, yeah, don't just be wasting your trades now because they are getting thin. And what have we got? We've still got 7 rounds to go, I think. And like at the end, there's mass restings, there's COVID.
People think, I've got depth too. They go, I've got depth. I can cover that. If he gets injured, I'll just play him. But if you lose your fullback and you've got no more trades and it's one of your fullbacks, it's one of your key scorers, you're at a massive disadvantage to everyone else that's got 2 genuine gun fullbacks. So you'd want to be able to cover in that situation that if you're halfback 5'8", or hooker, not a little bit hooker.
Yeah, not much hooker.
Not as much. More 5'8", halfback 5'8", and fullback.
5'8", fullback.
Have 2 of those going around the whole way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikey's got some notes over there. What have you cooked up for us? What have you got in your notes?
I was just I was writing out my bold predictions. I've got to leave in 5 minutes, so I'm going to spit you my bold predictions and what I'm thinking.
What, in a rap?
No.
Spit some bars, Mikey.
I'm not like Sabs. I'm not a rapper, mate. I'm not like Sabs, but Yeah, let's go with that, and then I'll hand over to the boys, and when I'm off, they can go through
Yeah, we'll go through some
the
questions.
questions, and then you can give your captains and that. So, my bold predictions, I'm going to stick with what I said before. DCE to stay under 15% owned for the round, a bit of a different one. But yeah, I just think, I don't think he's going to increase by 11% to this round. For feeder, he's going to reward you for grabbing him last week, Timmy, and 115 plus. That try's coming. That
The
his
guy I
minutes were
want him
good.
on side, so
His minutes were good last week. We've got him for a discount. I know we've all had him, but you're getting him for a 200k discount almost. And he did sweet F all, in my opinion, last week. And how the hell did he get 75 points? So if that's how he's going to play on we know what he can do. You combine that with one try, and you're looking at 110 plus. So,
I'm
because
stressing
his
about
tries
having
aren't
less
worth
trades, but if I didn't have him, I'd be stressing about not having him.
not
So,
having
yeah,
him.
I guess it's
Exactly.
replacing
So,
one stress for another.
yep, Fafita 115 plus, and we'll go Walker with those real crappy scores. Let's get him his first ton against a Storm in a while. So they're my three. Savs might have a little harder time tracking back to find where I said mine, but hopefully he works it out. He also gave us all a shout out. I'm assuming that's Savs. Yeah, I didn't know what Maxi's ranking was, so maybe Maxi's in the top 15k, 1500 too. So technically, I'm just outside of it, but yep, thank you, Savs. And the captaincies this week, as I said, DCE will 100% be my VC. They play early. I'm getting them in. I like to, when I get someone in, I like to welcome them to the side, and I'll give them all this. Here's your leadership. Here you go. I'll chuck them in the deep end, and I want to see if they can swim. So, VC it is for DCE. And
Pretty sure I did that with my IPAP purchase about 3 rounds ago when I captained him for a 38. Yeah, new shiny things always look like they're going to do good things, don't they? New shiny things.
That's why VC, because at least you got something on him if you were right. And then the captaincy is... it's going to be hard to... I think it'll be the Roosters game. It'll be Joey Manu or Tedesco. Even though Joey Manu's in centre, I still don't hate it. It's just between Manu, Tedesco, and Fafita. Haven't made my mind up, but
with the
to be
injury
honest,
linger and being
I
in
would
the
probably
centres,
go
I feel
Tedesco.
Like there's two negs there that sort of would push elsewhere.
Yep, exactly. Reasoning why I'll probably go.
Bold.
Yeah,
Could be sweet.
It's why I probably go for Fafita or Tedesco, where I think the masses might go Cleary. Doesn't matter who they verse. He's at home. He seems to tally points there. I'm not interested in Cleary this week, obviously, because I got DCE loop, but it's going to be too close of a game. Like, as I said, I'm confident Penrith can win, but at the same time, I see a world where it's going to be low scoring, and I think, it's not impossible for the Sharks to win, and I don't like losing to the Sharks because of you, Jake. I've got a lot of Sharks mates too. My best mate's a Sharks supporter, so yeah, mate, don't want to lose this one. I went through 12 games in a row we lost to the Sharks, and now we've started to.
That was a long time ago.
No, there was two. It was it's gone. We lost 2 years, and then we beat you 3 times in a row before that. So only 2 years ago you had that streak. So I remember it. But anyway, guys, I'm going to hand you over in good hands to Timmy and Jake. Good luck in all your super coaching. Don't rush those trades out. Think about it, and good luck. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Mikey.
Mate. See the top tally next week, mate.
Yeah. Hope so, mate. Hope so. See you later. Oh, I nearly ended the broadcast. Sorry, boys.
It's a bit weird. It's like a bit of silence, just waiting for him to leave. Or he's gone now. We can talk about him.
Do you want to go through our bold predictions and captains
bold
first, and then go to questions? We might as well just flow on from that.
No, we shouldn't probably bitch about Mikey. Okay, so what's your bold predictions? You got some? Work it out for me.
Well, Mikey mentioned about Penrith and Cronulla, so I'm going to go Sharks to win and Nico Hines to outscore Nathan Cleary. Mikey will hate that one, and if it comes true, he'll hate it even more. I'm going to go Joey Manu under 50. I went under 50 last week because Sav was going to captain him. That didn't pan out too well, but I think back in the centres, I think he's due for a low game. So I'll just go with those two. What about you, the King?
Look, if the Sharks won, I wouldn't be overly disappointed because I think it might be the loss that Panthers need at this time of the season. So I'll take it in a tight game as long as it's a tight competitive matchup. But I think for Nathan Cleary's sake, on return after State of Origin, I think he'll be pretty keen to sort of make his mark and have a big game. do I think I'll be putting my captaincy there? I don't think so, just because it is a tough matchup. The Sharks, have got a lot of respect for them. They were able to keep the Cowboys to only 12. So, yeah, maybe I don't think they'll keep Panthers to 12, but they might. Bold predictions. Okay, let's go. I'm going to go Stags. He scored like 50 last week, or down date, didn't he? I'm going to go Stags under 40. That's like a bold thing. Then I'm going to go. On the run. Sorry for the pause and the boringness and the static. Okay. So I'm going to go Cody Walker under 50.
Under 50.
Yep.
Continue his bad form against the Storm.
Yeah, I think Storm have got to respond, right? After 3 losses, surely.
Well, we thought they would last week when they had all their players.
Yeah, but this has gotten to the next stage, and I know that Bunnies are in form, but I just feel like the Storm have to respond. So that'll be very defense-minded, and I think, yeah, it'll be tough for maybe Latrell's got a big play in him, but I can't see. But then again, if the Bunnies set up and they're in good play, they always just seem to give him enough space, and Walker throws a pass that gets out to AJ and they score against any club. So, look, I don't know, but that's my bold prediction. Let's have a positive thing because they're both subs. Let's go. Oh, geez. Oh. I don't really have anything that's really popping out because then I'd have a strong idea about who I'm going to captain. And I don't have anything on that. What's a weak... Okay, matchup. Okay, I'm looking at a weak matchup. And I'm confident with the Roosters matchup. Let's go Teddy for... He scored an average score, and he played pretty well. I mean, 90 you'll take. I mean, that's great. I think he's due for a 140.
140?
Yeah, Teddy's 140. Not like exactly on the mark, but 140.
Yeah, but 140 plus. And I think that flows
And
into,
I will take, if he gets 135, like give or take, 5 to 8 points. 132, I'll take that as well.
We give it to you. We give it to you. But
all right, cool.
I guess that flows into
captains.
Some BC captains, yeah. Surely, does that mean you're captaining Teddy?
Okay, captains. I'm really all over the place with this one because I look at this. I look at the Para game, and I think to our Para guys, the Brisbane Broncos seem to just look a bit depleted to me for some reason. I think it's with Cobbo out. Haas is back, but just seems a bit, he's I don't know. They just seem depleted to me, but I can't trust that because the Broncos just keep turning up and they're a top 4 side. So I feel like I want to stay away from that game. And I don't like the Thursday night captain. So I feel like that's always gross. What I think I'm more likely to do is probably have Teddy as my, in my VC on my captain. And then the Storm, I do trust the Bunnies to sort of try hard, and I don't expect the Storm to smash a team. That's not the task. The task is just to play well, complete, and win. So, yeah, late in the round, the Cowboys game looks good, but I don't have a great deal of amount of Cowboys players. I've got Tom Alolo, and that's about it. So, Val Holmes, people that are looking at him, he could be juicy, but it's pottish. But it's a little bit risky too.
It is risky.
I don't know what I'm doing yet. My mind's still got those things sort of in a scattered mindset. But yeah, Teddy's definitely on the... Well, I don't even have Teddy. But yeah, I said I'm going to bring him in, didn't I? He's probably my main guy I'm going to bring in for Pappenhausen. So yeah, that's probably where I'll go. Unless I don't bring him in.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of all the players you kind of mentioned there. I was thinking maybe VC Teddy, captain Holmes. So I was like, that's too risky. So I think Teddy's going to be my captain. Hopefully you're right with your prediction. You're 140. VC, I think Ruben Garrick is one player that can potentially go big. I'd like him to get the goal kicking back. If he had the goal kicking last week, he scores about 140. But he's just seemed to have, I guess, gone in that fullback position and not become Tom Trebojevic, but just, done a pretty good job at, chiming in their attack and I guess linking the forwards and the backs and the halves.
I'd be pretty shocked if he went over 100. I wouldn't be like gobsmacked. I'd be like impressed. I'd be like, wow, okay, nice one, Latrell. Against the Storm, when they've got to back up. I mean, he scored a decent 135. The week this round prior, he scored that 90-ish in the bye round and was still good. So yeah, if he scored over 100, that means he's been involved in probably 3 really decent,
tries,
or at least 2, big attacking tries. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, let's wait and see. Like let's not put a cap on the boy. You know, he's I like his game.
Well,
he talked a big game. I think it's good for the game. He's like slightly doing a little bit of Conor McGregor, a bit of big talk. I like it.
Well, he was on about 35 at halftime, I think, and then he just absolutely lit it up in that second half and put on about 100 and something points. So we'll go through some questions. Yeah, we have a few. We'll leave this one to you, Tim, because I believe it's a relative of yours.
Yes. Head coach Chris Moody of the Riff Raff. I think he's moved himself into 5,000th. He's had he started off about 7,000, but then sort of went about, just started going into the, 5-figure numbers, and then he's pulled his way back into 5,000. So good on you. Who would I rather have my today? Teddy Tedesco, Tor Harris Tedesco, all day, every day, Hyundai. Closely followed by Fafita. Not closely, but a bit of a more than a nose.
Jump.
But then Fafita, and then Tohu Harris by a gap. He's just vanilla and boring. He gets 90s, and you go, what did he do? And you'll take it, but I like the guy that can do the 100 plus on, more often than but more often than just the once.
Yeah, and on Tohu, he's gone back-to-back 90s. He's had a try assist in there last week. I actually kept him. I was going to trade him out last week, but Barnett getting moved to lock. I ended up keeping Tohu, so I'll take the 90. But it's not something you expect every week. You expect probably 60 points, and before that, he was getting that. And the Warriors, I mean, you don't think they're going to be putting a lot of points on, so the attacking stats are not really there for Tohu. This is a question, I guess, just a SuperCoach question. SuperCoach last round is 25, but the league finals are round 24. Last year it was 25, and there was a kind of bit of an uproar because leagues were finishing and everyone had like 10 versus 12 because there was mass resting. So they brought that 1 week forward.
But to be fair, that's also, people want to argue about that. That's part of the game in Australia. We're all playing by the same rules. You've got to account and allow for that. I think it's nice that they've fixed it up so it's not chaotic, because it's annoying when you've done so much hard work and then you don't know who's going to rest. But if you can try and predict or get a couple right, that's sort of where, the strategy comes into it. But yeah, so like Jake said, for head-to-head competitions, we'll finish. Yeah, grand finals will be in round 24, but for overall rankings, it still exists in round 25.
It's still the whole season.
Yeah.
Matey 1,000 homes, Raymond or Murray for the run.
On you, Matey. Look, Holmes stands out because a few people are talking about him. He seems like that guy that does have a pretty good draw. I don't know if I can squeeze him into my squad, and I'm a little bit about it. So I don't know if he kills it. Maybe I might have to find a way and be less cautious with my 1 or 2 trades that I want to protect for injuries and COVID. But yeah, Raymond's had 2 big weeks in a row, scoring like a hat trick and then a double. And for the last 2 seasons, he hasn't done that. He's usually just known to be, a consistent base guy. And if he gets a couple extra offloads, you're like, yes. You know what I mean? You'll take that. And if you can cross one for 1 try, you're stoked. But he doesn't normally keep scoring a lot of tries. I do think that he's probably been doing that in the absence of Talakai, because they've probably been going to him because he's more of a gun target guy. Now, if Talakai's back, I see them sort of shedding that load a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Val, I guess the run now is good for Val. He goes Tigers, Dragons, Dogs, Roosters, Warriors. So 4 absolute dream games out of the next 5, and then it goes. I think he's got 2
tough 2 games to finish off the year, though. That's
he does finish quite difficult. Where the Sharks is kind of long term. That.
Yeah, if you want to play him in your grand final in round 24, let's say if you're playing head to head, and you're playing against the rest of the Penrith team, you want to beat your boss in the head to head finals because you get a lot of bragging rights for that. You probably don't get a promotion next year. But let's have a look who they've got. Oh,
They got
nothing on
South in
delayed
the,
for me.
I guess, the head-to-head final. So South's in round 24. They'll
Oh, is
play,
that
so that'll
all?
be the head-to-head grand finals.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Penrith in round 25, which
Yeah, okay. So
doesn't
Penrith
matter
stuck
for
out in
leagues.
my mind as the last round, but yep. And what's the round prior to that? Is the round prior to that's tough, isn't it? Before the South's 23.
No, Warriors.
Okay.
Warriors, and then before that, Roosters, who do
Okay.
leak a lot of points. They let in 26.
Yep,
So
yep,
I
yep,
don't
yep.
mind Val. I'm bringing him in. Ramey and
So head-to-head
Sharp
players,
score.
it's a gun move. Overall, it's probably still good. But just it might be a bit awkward. But then again, maybe Penrith rest a few. But then again, maybe the Cowboys have locked up their spot. They're definitely going to come forth no matter what happens, whether they get beat by 100 or they win by 100.
Second.
Yeah, I'm just throwing out a hypothetical here, Jake. Don't be so harsh on me.
Sorry.
He's all about the statistics and the mathematics and algorithms. Just a theory. Yeah, you don't know who's going to rest, so that's another thing you might have to allow for too if you're playing overall.
And I guess Ramey is kind of a bit too late. He's got his big scores. He's hiked in price. Sharks do have a good draw after their next two games. So they go Penrith this week, Souths the week after, and they go Dragons, Tigers, Manly, Dogs, Newcastle. And being a Sharks supporter, I'm so glad that we've had an absolute dream draw for pretty much the whole season. We played like the top 6 once and the bottom 8 twice. So,
and just want to say, nice cat there, matey. Love the cat.
Yes,
got a great cat myself. Big fan of grey cats.
Sean Fitzpatrick, would you hold off bringing Manu in if you don't have him moving back to the centres? I mean, I don't have him, and at 800k, I don't think I'll be picking him up with a bit of injury.
Oh, 800k is he? Jeez,
he's 800k now. Playing centre. He was playing
with what
5'8"
he's doing,
fullback, potentially.
I'd say that no prices, but maybe look. Joey Manu has said numerous times that I don't care what position I play in, I'm going to play my style of football. The only thing that's actually going to change is he probably will get less touches when he's in centre. So he's going to probably double his touches if he's playing fullback or 5'8", which just gives him more opportunity to do those big plays and get those moments. But he's still going to go sniffing for him, and he's pretty good. So when he goes sniffing for him, even because he hasn't had many opportunities, he's going to make the most of the opportunity he gets. So if you want to get him, get him. But the only thing that's sort of holding me back a little bit if you don't own him is just the fact there is that lingering injury. Maybe plays hampered, maybe he doesn't play. Maybe he tweaks it again. Yeah, that's the thing that sort of be holding me off this week at least.
Yeah, I think so. The main thing is, I guess, if he was fine, he was moving back to the centres. I don't know if I'd want to do it anyway, unless we saw that he was going to be this roving centre where he's, pretty much like a second fullback, like back on the left as well. So unless I saw that, he had a different, like a specified Manu role,
he'll rove.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he will rove, but like you said, the touches won't be there like he had at 5'8". We was
just about and then the injury thing. Maybe he wants to rove less, and he does it. Don't have to throw yourself in there, Joey. Just let the boys do their thing. Don't take the big moments. Just do your job. Just feel it. Be a cog in the chain. Don't go out of the chain. Maybe that's what he says.
We'll get Savsy screen time and he's a bit of a laugher. Jake, do you have Manu? No. I've got a couple more against me. Your mates have chimed in. The usual suspect. Anyone know why Jake give me so bad at SuperCoach? I must listen to you, Campo. And this bloke, Bryce Cartwright's brother. How'd you go this week? Just like your brother's defence, Benny. All right, proper questions now. I currently have Moses and Hughes in my house and want to bring back Cleary. Who would you take out of Hughes or Moses? Jimmy?
That's really tough because, look, I've got Moses and a little bit of a part of me is kind of thinking I might have to move him on at some stage just because there's better options. I've got Cleary there myself already, but I think Hines and then, a lot of people are talking about DCE, so I'm getting a little sniffy at DCE and smelling what he's like, you know what I mean? So I've sort of got my eyes there as well. So I'd have to say when I'm thinking about selling Moses, it doesn't mean that I'm considering bringing Hughes in, but Hughes plays for the Storm and I think, but then Moses looks good and he's kicking goals and He's the main guy, man. Like, yeah. See, this is why I can't make my decisions until kickoff. I'd not make a decision unless, like, I just have to make a decision when kickoff comes. My pros and cons list just go for days, and my devil and the angel. It's messy, man. It's stressful. It's very stressful.
I think if you had Dylan Brown, I'd be happy to move on Mitch Moses because you kind of got that para half.
Hedging your bets, got a little bit of something, yeah.
Yeah, I think Moses definitely has the higher ceiling than Hughes, but Hughes is, I guess, more consistent than Moses.
He
Moses
loves
is like
going for a
flipping
run,
roller coaster.
scoring a try, line break. He loves that, man. He's a natural runner because he's, a fullback previously. So, but then again, he doesn't have the kicking, and I do like the kicking. But I'd probably say look at the draw.
They're both
And
pretty similar
let that
draws
way
as
up.
well.
Yeah, I think
it's a tough
Parra
one. I
might
mean,
be
you
a
got
little
to
bit.
have Cleary.
Yeah, get
You got to have
Cleary.
Cleary. So
Yep.
I guess I'm not sure what their prices are, but maybe you're really the one that's higher priced, so you got more money to play with.
I hate
If you're
not giving you
sure-
a definite answer because we're just sort of stressing out about the same things you're probably worrying about there, Robert, and just weighing up the pros and cons that you've already identified. But look, if I had to pick one, you've put Moses in capitals, so go with him. Hughes doesn't have a capital for his name, so just go with that. I like to
So
look
for
for
that
little signs
reason,
like that in the
you're
universe. Yeah.
you're subconsciously choosing Moses. That's what Robert's doing there.
You also wrote it first.
Yeah. With only 2 trades left, with depth in bench and jewels, I do have Pappy to replace. Got Latrell already and was getting Hines back for man, but torn. Teddy, Hines, or Hines DCE. So would you choose? Well, it's Teddy or DCE.
So he wants Hines either way. Yeah. I think that's a big decision a lot of people have got this week as well, especially with the dual flexibility. For me, with Pappy going out, I don't have that dual flexibility. I generally need to get a fullback in there unless I was to move a center wing like Garrick in and then get Holmes. But I don't want to do that. I want to get a genuine fullback. I like genuine fullbacks. Or playing a gun fullback like Hines, I'd be happy to I'm entertaining the idea of possibly doing that even. But that means foregoing Teddy for a week maybe, but then I can move Hines back. Yeah. Look, long story short, I think Teddy over DCE, hey. I just feel like the Roosters are going to time their run to the finals better. They're a better side. Yes, DCE's, the man to help his club try to get into the finals. And I don't know if I'm being a little bit blue goggly and just going with Teddy, but Teddy's got all the tackle bars. He'll score more tries. He'll probably not set up as many, but DCE will have a lot of those forced dropouts. Look, Teddy. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say the sign is he's got DC in capitals, but that's you have to you don't have to, and Teddy doesn't have a capital. Maybe you go DCE because you've got it in capitals.
I mean, the pod movie is DCE, but I think Teddy, every year he's averaged more than DCE. And like I said, the Roosters, they need to be going guns, and Teddy's going to be behind that. So I had that decision. I can flip Hines up and down, sort of like we all can, or most of us can. But I'm going Teddy over DCE. For sure. What else have we got? Timmy, this one's aimed at you. The Triple SC podcast. Evening lads, letting Timmy know he was spot on. Predicted I'd be in the 1200s this week, and I'm 1282 from 2008.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I wanted you to sort of chime in and let us know. Yeah, on the Monday, and you've let us know on the pod live. Thank you very much. It was a positive, bold prediction of mine. Thank you very much.
Another question at you, Timmy. You're when you choose captain, Timmy, do you go with your gut or look at stats? Do you look at probably not those two because you look at
No, ultimately I'm
stars.
First thing I'm looking at is matchup. Straight away is matchup. I'm looking at who's got the better matchup. What time do they play in the round for obviously vice captain and captain. But then it would go to my gut, which is when I'm like, okay, I can pitch this guy's going to have a pretty big game against this club for whatever reason, whether it be he's played well the last couple of games or he's not played well the last couple of games, he's due, whatever reason that is. And then I'll usually go into the app and have a look and go, what's his highest score he's ever scored against this club before? And if it's like, oh, he's played them 5 times and he's only ever scored 80, You know what I mean? Then I'm like, hold on, then I'll be a little bit, and then I start to think about it a bit more, and I'm like, oh yeah, and they'll go into the actual games. I go, oh yeah, hold on. Well, maybe the captain I'm thinking about, Hines, who's playing a club I'm just going to make up here in the run. Don't tell me that the Storm are actually not a voodoo team for the because you're the Sharks. But let's say that I look at that and I go, oh yeah, Sharks have actually only scored 2 or 3 tries in the last every time they've played him in the last 5 games. All better stay off that. Maybe Storm's a bad example because they're a gun side. Maybe you look at another side like Canberra. Canberra's a bit of a hoodoo team.
They are a voodoo team for us, yes.
Yeah, and for a lot of clubs actually. Yeah. So that's probably my order and process.
Fair enough.
But then I will revert back and go with the gut. With all of that, came back.
Timmy always goes with the gut, and it usually works. Mitchell Turner, he's got 2 trades left. Oh, he's got 3 left. Wait, hang on. I don't have to plug in his weekend. 2 trades left. So he's got 3 trades left. He wants to know to go Kennedy to DCE. Will Kennedy to DCE?
2 trades left. I don't like Kennedy as a play this week, especially against Penrith. I didn't like him last week as a play. I don't really love him as when there's other people that's got guns. Like if you're playing someone, and they've got like a Teddy versus your Kennedy or a Latrell versus your Kennedy or a DCE versus your Kennedy. And when it comes to, you probably want to move him on. I don't know what price he's at. He was sitting around low 3s. He's probably moved up a little bit. Maybe
I think he's in
4 something now.
5-4s.
5. You're nice.
I think he's around the 5.
Yeah. Well, maybe do that if it's not going to cost you too much.
470
stress as well. Yeah, maybe. But then again, that'll leave you with 2. Yeah, then I would not be getting too, creative with anything else. Those next 2 trades for you, man, 100%. Who's my major injury? And don't just go next week. Oh, this guy got injured in my centers, and because you still have cover like 2 other backups, I'd then go hold off and account for that when I have to, and then because maybe the week after you lose your halfback and your 5'8", and then it'd be better to be able to swap your halfback and your 5'8" and just deal with the CWT issues with the other 2 guys that you got in reserves, if that makes sense.
2 more. They're not really, I guess, team based. What was the app Tim mentioned regarding Supercoach stats on?
I'll bring it up. I've got it. I saved it in my notes.
Yeah, it's Rugby League Fantasy Pro, and then there's a SuperCoach app version because it does SuperCoach and the fantasy one, which is the NRL one. So
copy. I'm going to I'll put it in the links. I'm just going to hopefully I don't bring up the audio to us right now. That'll be a bit awkward. But you keep talking. I'm not very good at operating technology, so I've sort of got to focus on that. Tim will write the link in there. It's also on our site. They also in our group they also share their weekly stuff as well in our group. You log on to there and they've got a lot of data on there, and I guess it does the gritty stuff for everyone else. One more, I guess, Timmy. It's not really. You knew that would happen. Sorry about that. It really scared me too. I'm very easily scared.
Bradsky's brought up one, Timmy. I have not forgotten, but who's buying who the beer regarding Elliot? We made a bet earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Logged.
I had it on my whiteboard and was tallying, but I thought there's no need to keep tallying.
Stop this. The tally was over.
You didn't get any tallies since we made the bet.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just getting tally week after week. Yeah.
Awesome. Thankfully, the amount of tallies didn't mean of how many beers I had to get. Yeah, it was a case regardless. So. Yeah, I'll send Timmy.
If you don't want to buy me a whole case, because I hate putting people out, you can instead just do 2 shoeies on the podcast. Up to you. You pick your poison.
I'll send you a case, Timmy.
A double shoey.
I'll send you a case. That's fine. You haven't found a link, Timmy?
Yep, just send it. Post it in the comments.
Oh,
so
there it is.
Promote a can movement.
Yeah, so go through the comments and forget the massive link, or just type in, the first part of that .com Fantasy Pro.
I don't really know how to use the internet and things. So yes.
But thanks everyone for listening. Good luck this week going ahead. We've got 6-7 rounds to go, so get into the nitty gritty. Hold those trades like Mikey said. Good luck to Tim and Savs, both flying. Hopefully, me and Mikey can stay in the top 1K.
Good luck to you boys, and good luck to everyone else. Keep your dreams alive. refocus your goals. If your goal was you just wanted to come in the top 1,000 and now you're 500th, let's try get yourself into the top 100. Let's try get a tracksuit and get in the top 11. Who knows? Just, set yourself a goal, reshape your goals. If you're not doing as well as you wanted to, you wanted to come in the top 1,000, you're now 10,000th. Let's get into the top 5K. That's
That's it.
chill.
That's it, Timmy. Positive thinking, mate. I love it. And on that note, guys, catch us next time. Will be hopefully Maxi's back on Sunday for the Sunday wrap. He's still dealing with the switching times between England and over here, and apparently there's a massive heat wave, which he'd probably be used to because we live in Australia. But see you all next time. Thanks for listening. Catch us.
See you later.